I knew.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got question Chase, has got the facts, talking NFL numbers, he's got your back. A little chart trend ball, man, he's got it like that. Chasing data by do champions. Chasing data applies to everyone. Chasing data, yeah, we're live today. Chasing data for always. Chasing data, Baidu champions.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to week 9 of the NFL. We are here on Chasing Data. Did I see the patch trades? Yeah, just all of a sudden they're trading all these not really impact players, but they are making trades. We are here. We are talking all week 9 games. This is all analytics based. Analytics. Less X's and O's, more ones and zeros. So if you're into the numbers, you're in the right place. We're going to go through every game. I'm going to give my thoughts on that game and what I expect to happen. So we're going to get straight into it, starting with the Thursday night game. Let's go ahead and get this set up and bam. All right. Tomlin's Legacy. I appreciate the follow. So we're going to start with Thursday night. Right now, we know the Ravens have brought back basically the entirety of their team. They're finally back healthy. We're going to see if they can do something a little better than what they did to start the season. It all went downhill from when Derrick Henry fumbled in week 1. But right now, they're 2-5. 2-5. They have a chance. They have a chance to make the playoffs. But right now, they are 7.5-point favorites at Miami this week. Miami's coming off a big win against the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons, although they had Kirk Cousins, I was very surprised at what Miami's defense was able to do against Atlanta. You look at the likes of what their run defense has allowed, and Quinshon Judkins, who else played? Rico Dowdle went off. It was like 4 straight running backs that just had a season high against them this year against the Miami Dolphins defense. And then Bijan, his over-under was like 89.5 rush yards. He ended up getting, 10 yards, 12 yards, something like that. Not an ideal game for the Falcons. But with that said, Miami has improved now to the 5th worst defense. They're not the worst. They're the 5th worst. Lamar's supposed to be playing, even if it's Tyler Huntley. It doesn't matter. But Lamar playing should go absolutely insane against the secondary. Tyler Huntley came in last week. I mean, I wish they had him and not Cooper Rush. I mean, Cooper Rush is such a totally different quarterback from Lamar. But wish they would have had him in those earlier weeks. But, they were 2-5. And now their schedule going forward for the Ravens, they go out and get the win this week. They play the likes. I think their upcoming 6 games, the records are 18-36 right now. So with that said, they have a chance to really go on a run, and 2 of the next 6 are against the Steelers. They also have 2 games against the Bengals, I believe, that's left. So the division is completely up for grabs. Miami defense, like I said, they improved after last week to the 5th best defense, and they've actually had quite good games the last 2 weeks. -0.14 and -0.35 EPA per play allowed over the last 2 weeks. 4.1 yards per play. This defense was god-awful, so anything that they can improve upon is a godsend if you're a Miami fan. It was the 3rd best run D of any team all season versus Bijan. Still very surprising. But with all that said, I still think Baltimore runs away with this one. They're getting Lamar back, so yeah. Not too much to say. I don't think Tua and the likes of that team can score with what the Ravens are going to put up on them. Mm-hmm. Jonathan Taylor and Devontae Adams are Cook and Rice. I mean, I think you go Cook and Rice. I know Jonathan Taylor is obviously the best player in that foursome, but Cook is so good that you're getting Rice above Devontae Adams, who's a wide receiver too, obviously. All right, next game. we have the Chicago Bears at the Cincinnati Bengals. Chicago is favored by 2.5. Cincinnati loses a game that they definitely should not have lost last week to the New York Jets. Gave up over 500 yards. It was their first 500-yard game in like 2 years or something like that in New York. When you look at the Cincinnati pass defense, it's just gotten progressively worse over the season, week to week. The first 2 weeks, they had a negative EPA per pass, and then it's gone to positive 0.18 to 0.26 to 0.31, 0.22, 0.3 to 0.4. Their worst pass defense of the season was last week against Justin Fields and the New York Jets and no Garrett Wilson. Absolutely terrible. But when you look at what Caleb Williams is doing on the other side, in non-garbage time, when you filter out the garbage time, when you're looking at the EPA per dropback, he's 23rd still. I mean, it's slightly improved with Ben Johnson, but I don't know if it's where you want it to be for a number 1 overall pick with the offensive mind that is Ben Johnson. Part of his issue with his dropback being 23rd is that he has over 9 points lost on rush attempts as far as EPA goes this season. He's 13th in total pass EPA, but that 9 points lost on the rush is definitely an issue. Got to pick that up for sure if you are Caleb Williams. But, yeah, that's where they're at right now. It's probably going to be a high-scoring game. I want to say the over-under is 44.5, if I remember correctly. It's going to be a high-scoring game based on Chicago's pass defense. Kyler Gordon's still out. Caleb should go off against this Rome Dunes. They should have a great game. DJ Moore, they got to get him involved. I think he has over 70 yards just once this entire season, which is unheard of if you have DJ Moore on your team, especially in a Ben Johnson offense. I was expecting him to, really take that Amon-Ra St. Brown role from Detroit, and he just has not. The Bengals definitely need to win this one to keep their head above water in the AFC North. And they really have to. They really need to win this game because, like I said, the Ravens, their next 6 opponents have a combined record of 18-36. So it is just going to be smooth sailing for the Ravens, or one would hope if you're a Ravens fan. I think I'm going Chicago in that one. Next game on the docket is the Atlanta Falcons at the New England Patriots. We were talking about Atlanta and how they went up against Miami last week, and Bijan just absolutely couldn't do anything. We expect Michael Penix to be back this week. Before I go on, let me get one of these comments. Are the Chargers Super Bowl contenders? Yes, if they can get healthy and stay healthy. I mean, Joe Alt's back, which is good. They don't have Rashawn Slater. They hadn't had him all year. Omarion Hampton should be back in a few weeks. Khalil Mack's back. The defense is good enough, I want to say. And if they can get on a hot streak with that offense with Justin Herbert, they could be a sleeper pick. I mean, would I be absolutely blown away? No. They're probably about plus 2,000 to win it all right now. But going back to the lineup this week, we have Atlanta at New England. New England's 5.5-point favorites. Drake May is playing himself into the MVP conversation at this point. He is 3rd in EPA per dropback, and he's just behind Daniel Jones and Jordan Love, who are 1 and 2. He's got a positive 0.26 EPA per dropback so far this season. He's number 1 in completion percent over expected at a positive 10.8%. He has a positive 2.28 EPA per dropback on deep passes, number 1 by a long shot this season. I mean, we know what he's been doing with the deep ball all year long. He's 13 for 17, 434 yards, 5 touchdowns. On the flip side of that, Atlanta is number 1 against deep passes. So Drake May has a positive 2.28 EPA per dropback on deep passes. Atlanta overall in the season has a negative 0.63 EPA per dropback. They're allowing just under 25 pass yards per game on those 20-plus air yard attempts. So with all that said, who's going to come out on top? It's usually the offense. The offense usually outweighs the defense. But I don't know what we're going to get out of Michael Penix this week. Is he fully healthy? Bijan needs to have a bounce back week. The defense in New England is not the best of defenses. They're around average, I'd say. But the last time, if New England can get this win, the last time they started 7-2 or better through 9 games was 2019, whenever they made the divisional round. I mean, they're the favorites in this game, and I think they take care of business at home versus Atlanta. Next game, Josh Downs or Marvin Harrison Jr. I think we go Josh Downs just because, I mean, the Colts, they're going against the Steelers, and the Steelers have one of the worst secondaries in the NFL right now. They are not good. Their defense has just got off. I think they're like 27th overall in the NFL. Next game is the San Francisco 49ers versus the New York Giants. San Francisco travels to New York, where they are 2.5-point favorites. The Niners are. I'm curious to see what happens with this offense in New York now that Cam Scatterbo is out for the season. Is going to be Tyrone Tracy again, which is not a terrible thing. I'm curious. Excuse me. I'm curious to see what Tyrone Tracy can do now that Jackson Dart is under center, because we didn't get any Jackson Dart, Tyrone Tracy as RB1 play this season, because Tyrone Tracy got hurt in that game against KC when Russ was still under center. But when you look at Jackson Dart, I mean, he's played so much better than I thought he would. In non-garbage time EPA per play, he's currently 21st. Okay, 21st. That's decent. But that's higher than Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Mac Jones, Tua, Michael Penix, and Trevor Lawrence. So he's higher than all 6 of them. It's no coincidence when you look at San Francisco on the flip side at their defense that versus Houston, San Francisco gave up the most pass yards to backfield targets, 70 yards, Woody Marks, and the highest EPA per dropback, a positive 0.41 of the season. Again, Fred Warner's out. He's the focal point of that defense. He carries that defense. He leads them week to week, and him not being there just changes everything. So I'm really set on taking every over on Tyrone Tracy. With that said, we should be getting Brock Purdy back this week. I don't know. I think San Francisco has overachieved thus far this season, and I think I may take the Giants as the underdogs in this game. Start Warren or Swift this week. So Jaylen Warren is going up against Indianapolis, and DeAndre Swift is going up against Cincinnati. We know Cincinnati's defense was just ran through by the New York Jets, so it makes me want to take DeAndre Swift. He's been on an uptick as of late as well. Addison or ETN at the flex. So Addison is going up against the Minnesota Vikings, are going up against the Detroit Lions. This is going to be a high-scoring game. ETN is going up against the Raiders. I still think I lean ETN because the Raiders' defense is so god-awful right now. And I don't trust J.J. McCarthy, assuming he's the starter. I don't think they've announced it yet. But assuming he's the starter, I don't feel comfortable with Addison, even though it's going to be a high-scoring game. Next game, Indianapolis Colts at the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Colts are just 3.5 points ETN over Genty. I think so. I know ETN's had a few down weeks after those first few good weeks, but I think we give him one more chance because I trust the Jags defense to be better than the Raiders defense. Indy is 3.5-point favorites over Pitt right now. I just don't get it. I mean, Pitt, I feel like Pittsburgh has overachieved. Or no, they're overrated, I should say. And overachieved also. But Jonathan Taylor is just going to go crazy against this defense. Daniel Jones probably also going to go crazy. Rodgers is just never pushing the ball down the field. I don't see how they can score with the Colts right now. He's never pushing the ball. He's third lowest in ADOT right now at 6.1 yards per attempt. Pittsburgh has the 9th worst overall defense in the NFL, right over the positive 0.02 EPA per dropback. They're 8th worst against the pass and 4th worst versus the deep pass. With that said, the one thing that Daniel Jones is bad at this year is the deep pass. I still think Indy comes out with the win here. I don't think this is going to be a close game. I think Pittsburgh has got more wins than we expected them to early on in the season. And the last time that Indy started 8-1 or better was 2009, and they made it to the AFC Championship. So I'm curious to see what happens in that game, but I think Indy runs away with it. Do I think it should start David Montgomery or Alvin Kamara? So Monty's going up against the Vikings. Kamara's going up against the Rams. I always feel like you should start Monty because at any given point, he could go for 125 and 2 touchdowns. Kamara, I can't say the same, especially with Tyler Shough. Tyler Shough has not shown anything. The only reason you could argue Alvin Kamara this week is the fact that Tyler Shough may be checking it down 50 times in this game. Next game, Chargers at the worst team in the NFL, I think, Tennessee Titans. So, looking at this game, lost my notes there. Tennessee Titans, man, they're 10.5-point dogs in this game. Cam Ward is awful. I don't know. He's not looking good for a number 1 overall pick. He's looking much worse than last year's number 1 overall pick. Bryce Young, they look what and what between their first seasons, I'd say. It's Cam Ward has the next to worst EPA per dropback right now. He's only ahead of Jake Browning. I know the play calling hasn't been the best. The playmakers have not been the best as well. The protection has not been good. But, man, there's just nothing coming out of this offense at all. He has a minus 0.32 EPA per dropback, and he has over 200 yards per game. Okay, cool. On 57% completion rate. That is just terrible. And then he's going up against Jesse Minter. I don't think there's much more to discuss in this game. Khalil Mack is just going to go crazy. We may see a breakout game from Odafe Oweh, the new Los Angeles Charger who came from Baltimore. So, I don't think it's going to be a good one. Would I trade Dobbins for Hampton? I know. J.K. Dobbins is just playing out of his mind right now. He's 3rd in rush yards, I think, on the season. Start Flacco or Kyler. Flacco is going up against the Chicago Bears and that nobody in the secondary. Kyler is going up against the Dallas Cowboys, who have the worst secondary in the NFL. I think you may actually go Kyler in this game. They also don't have Trevon Diggs, I want to say. Is Deron Bland? I know he got injured last week. Is he playing? But regardless, they were the worst with them. So I think I may go Kyler, honestly. All right, moving to the next game. I think we're all on the Chargers in that game. We have the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. Looking at this one, I want to say it's going to be high scoring, but it may just be high scoring on one side of the ball, honestly. Detroit is currently over a touchdown favorite at minus 8.5 right now. When you look at Kevin O'Connell and what's happening this season with the likes of J.J. McCarthy, they let Sam Darnold walk. Sam Darnold's playing out of his mind in Seattle with Clint Kubiak. But Kevin O'Connell, over the last 6 seasons, this season ranks as the lowest yards per game via passing. They're 20th, the lowest out of all 6 seasons. Next to lowest touchdowns, pass touchdowns, they're 24th. They have the most interceptions over the last 6 seasons under Kevin O'Connell. The offense has never been lower than 11th, and they're 26th right now. And on the other side of the ball, Detroit is just absolutely rolling. I know they lost to Kansas City, but they got behind early in that game. They had the crazy call on that Jared Goff touchdown reception that didn't count. And what stood out to me was the fact that as good as Jahmyr Gibbs is, he was better last year as far as EPA per rush goes and rush yards over expected, which is surprising because, he's been playing out of his mind again this year. But, regardless of who's quarterback in Minnesota, they're not going to be able to score with the likes of Detroit. Detroit is an offensive powerhouse that just can't be stopped at this point in time. I think Detroit runs away with this one. Carolina at is that the next one? Yeah, Carolina at Green Bay. Green Bay is 12.5-point favorites, which I thought was a ton, considering that, Carolina should be getting Bryce Young back. I know Bryce Young is not an amazing player, but come on. Carolina is 26th in EPA per play overall. That's a little skewed from last week, them playing terribly. 22nd in on defense in non-garbage time. 12.5 is a lot, but Bryce Young, he's looked better. It's not been the best. They do have Rico Dowdle, though. Rico Dowdle's been good, elite over the last few weeks. Jordan Love on the other side. I don't think the Panthers win this game. I know they're 4-4 and doing better than what they did last year, but I don't think there's any way that the Panthers win this game. You have Jordan Love, who over the last 2 seasons, he had 11 interceptions in each season. He has just 2 this year. That's the big flipping point for him, is the fact that he's not turning over the ball. It's his first season with a positive CPOE. He has 4 times higher EPA per dropback this season, and it's the highest, or it's 4 times higher than what his previous high was of his career. So he's playing exponentially better than what he has in years past. The thing is, you just got to get pressure on Jordan Love. That's going to be the problem. Green Bay Packers, number 1. Yeah, I mean, there's the argument for them to make it to the Super Bowl and win it all. The main one being that Jordan Love is 27 and Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers won their Super Bowls at age 27. But with that said, the one way that you can get to – appreciate the follow as well, Renee. The one way you can get to Jordan Love and affect this game and have a chance to win is getting pressure to him. Currently, based on EPA per dropback, Jordan Love is 2nd overall in EPA per dropback, just overall, every passing down considered. Whenever he's pressured, he drops from 2nd all the way to 22nd. 19th highest pressure rate, so he's on the bottom end of the league, bottom half, I should say. The good thing for Jordan Love in this game is that Carolina is next to last in quarterback pressure rate at 26.1%. So, the one thing that the Panthers could do to have a chance in this game, they cannot do well, and that's get after the quarterback. So, I mean, I think we're all aware that the Packers should win. Whenever they lost, when they were 10.5-point favorites to the Browns, I mean, the Browns did have a defense. What does Carolina have? Rico Dowdle, and that's it? J.C. Horn, maybe? Thoughts on J.J. McCarthy's future? So, J.J. McCarthy, I am not high on at all. He had that one comeback victory where he looked good early on. And was that week 1? After that, it was just everything else was terrible. Everything else was absolutely terrible. But I mean, I don't think he's the franchise quarterback going forward. Who do they go to? You know, I keep seeing the speculation that they could trade for Anthony Richardson. Kevin O'Connell had that quote where he told him he's going to be great in this league for years to come or something like that. Is J.J. McCarthy's ankle? Had an ankle sprain. Is it truly hurt, or has he just been being held out? I don't know. But I'm not high on J.J. McCarthy. Carson Wentz had a higher ceiling as far as what this offense could do. But going to the next game, one of the two, Murray or Darnold this week. So Darnold plays Washington, and their secondary is absolutely god-awful. I think it's like 8th worst as far as EPA per pass play. Kyler Murray's going up against the worst of the worst in the Dallas Cowboys, and I want to say Trevon Diggs is out. I think did they put him on IR? With that said, though, I mean, man, I still think Sam Darnold could get you more points because Sam Darnold I trust exponentially more than Kyler Murray. I still think I go Darnold. Darnold's just been playing out of his mind. Next game. Is this the second best game of the week? I think it is. Denver Broncos at the Houston Texans. Houston Texans are making a comeback right now. Houston is basically a pick 'em. Houston are favored by 1.5 at this point. This is going to be a defensive matchup. The over-under is 39.5, which is very, very low based on NFL standards, I should say. 39.5. So, I mean, you're looking at a projected final score of 21-20-ish. You have the number 1 versus the number 3 EPA allowed per play defenses in NFL. So number 1 and number 3 overall. 1st and 6th pass defense, with Denver being the 6th best pass defense. The problem in this game for them is the fact that they do not have Patrick Surtain. PS2 is out. 22nd and 7th versus the run. That's the difference here. I still think CJ Stroud with no PS2 could just do a lot for the Houston Texans in this game to help get them over the hump. I know they're 1.5 point favorites. I don't really trust Bo Nix. He's played okay. I don't think he's taken that second-year leap. But this defense, outside of Nick Benito. I mean, they look good at times. Riley Moss has the most penalties ever. What was it? This past week? Who was he getting flagged? Who was he? Oh, CeeDee Lamb, CeeDee or George Pickens. But it was just like penalty after penalty after penalty in that game on Riley Moss. I mean, I just think they're going to be susceptible versus the pass, and this offensive line in Houston has been reasonable based on the talent level that they have. Ben, appreciate the follow. Based on the talent level that they have, they went out and probably had arguably the least talented offensive line in the NFL prior to the season, and they've been around 18th or so in quarterback pressure rate throughout the year, which is leaps and bounds above what you expected based on the talent level that they had. I'm leaning Houston in this game. I think they are turning things around after that 0-3 start. But we shall see what happens. Next game, we got 5 more games left. Next game, New Orleans Saints and Tyler Shuck travel to the Los Angeles Rams. Evan, appreciate the follow. Where they are 13.5-point favorites. The Rams, not the Saints. We don't have to talk about this one much. I don't expect a lot from the Saints. They have not looked good and probably will not in this game either. You have the number 31 passing offense versus no blitz against the number 2 defense when they don't blitz. You have the number 32 passing versus no pressure under no pressure in the Saints versus the number 2 Rams defense. You have the number 31 deep passing offense in the Saints versus the number 3 deep passing defense. You have the number 30 overall passing efficiency offense in the Saints versus the number 2 overall passing efficiency defense. This game is just not going to be close. Like, if the Saints score 10 points, I would be surprised. There's not much to discuss. Puka's coming back. It's going to be a blowout. Bam Knight or Woody Marks. Woody Marks. I know he played well last week. He was going up against the Niners, who did not have Fred Warner, but he had one of his best games of the season. And I think the arrow is just pointing up for Woody Marks. Dowdle for Chase Brown? No, I don't think so. Dave Canales was talking about how they gave Chuba Hubbard more of a run because of what he meant to this organization, but he also said you can't deny the fact that Rico Dowdle has been playing absolutely out of his mind. I'm paraphrasing, but that's what he said. So I think Rico Dowdle is going to get more run as we continue on in this season. Next up, Jacksonville travels to Las Vegas, where they're just 3.5-point favorites. The Jags are. I know they've regressed a little bit after that great start to the season. Geno Smith has just been awful this year. So his prior 3 years, he had 30 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 21 and 15. So that is 71 touchdowns, 71 to 34. 71 to 37 touchdown to interception ratio. This year is 7 to 10. So it's basically flipped. I think he has the most interceptions in the NFL. It's his worst season overall. His CPOE is the lowest it's been since his 2018 season with the Chargers. His EPA per dropback is also the worst since then. He didn't start any games with the Chargers, so it doesn't really matter. So he's just playing god awful all around. Career worst since he started back. Jacksonville has the second most takeaways in the NFL, I think, with 13. And Las Vegas has the second most giveaways, partially due to the fact that Geno Smith has the most interceptions. So with all that said, I don't see a scenario where Jacksonville loses this game. I mean, it's just probably going to be turnover city. Geno's probably going to have an interception or two. And there's no reason that Jacksonville should lose this game. All right. 3 more games. We have 4 teams on bye this week. The Browns, the Eagles, the Jets, and the Bucks. The Bucks need a bye because I feel like someone gets hurt every single week. Next game, this is definitely the game of the week ahead of the Broncos and the Texans. But we have the Kansas City Chiefs, who are absolutely rolling, -1.5 at Buffalo. Buffalo, they're also rolling. They had their season best offensive and defensive performance versus the Carolina Panthers last week in Week 8. Kansas City, on the other hand, their offense has just been getting better each and every week, and now they have Rashee Rice back. Their run game, if they had anything from the run game, they would be unstoppable. Patrick Mahomes is their run game, honestly. With that said, I don't see a scenario. I don't see a scenario. There is a scenario. But I think Kansas City wins this game. Patrick Mahomes is just playing out of his mind. Buffalo tends to win the regular season games, but not the playoff games against the Kansas City Chiefs. And it could be a repeat of this yet again. Kansas City, the defense is playing better. They bend but don't break. You saw how many yards they gave up, like 90-something yards versus the Raiders. And then they give up a ton of yards last night versus the Commanders, but they did not allow points. I just think, the offense is unstoppable. They just can't be stopped right now. I think I'm going KC in that one. Then, see, I traded Drake May, Josh Jacobs, and Kayshon Boutte for Egbuka, Bijan, and Caleb Williams. Is that good? Yes. I think it's sufficient. Bijan should bounce back. Egbuka should bounce back as well. Jacobs, I think he may be on the downtrend. And you have Lamar. Oh, you're fine. Okay, Seattle -3.5 at Washington. Assuming Jaden Daniels is back, they desperately need a win in Washington. They're now 3-5. Teams that are 3-5 since the merger have made the playoffs, I think 9.7% of the time. They should have won last week. No problem, Josh. Appreciate you stopping by. The offense is just not what it is. We expected some sort of regression from Jaden Daniels in this team. In this offense, they had the NFL record for fourth down conversion rate last year, and we knew that was not going to be sustainable. So with that said, what are we getting out of this offense? Terry McLaurin, he got injured again last night. The quad that had been keeping him out was acting up again, so that is not good for him. The defense is 17th overall in Washington. They're 19th versus the pass and 8th versus the rush. And that secondary is just getting worse each and every week. They're 7th worst against deep pass. That means to me that Jackson Smith and Jigba and Sam Darnold are about to go absolutely insane on this team. 3.5 seems like too close. I think Seattle should win by a touchdown. And I don't really think there's a case for Washington to do anything. The run game hasn't done anything. JCM has a good game, and then that's about it. It's just been drop-off as of late. So, yeah, Seattle in that one. Last game, Monday Night Football. That's Sunday Night Football, by the way, Seattle at Washington. Monday Night Football, we have Arizona. This is probably going to be a very high-scoring game. Arizona at Dallas. Dallas is favored by 2.5. Man, Dallas, if this defense could do literally anything, it would be great for Dak and the way he's been playing on offense. Please do anything. They're wasting this offense. They're the worst overall defense, second worst versus the pass and the rush over each separately. But now no stuff. Trevon Diggs this week. Bland, he got injured last week. Is he fully healthy? Not really sure. With all that said, man, Kyler and Marvin Harrison should just go off in this game. They should. If there's a breakout game, it should be this one. They need Overshawn to come back and play well for Dallas defense. But Kyler Murray, if he was ever going to be good, it has to be this week. If he doesn't, there's no hope for him having a high ceiling. The final, I need to look up what the over-under for this game is, but we could get like a 34-30 final in this game, honestly. But with that said, that's all of week 9. Going through each game again, I have Baltimore over Miami, Chicago over Cincinnati, New England over Atlanta, New York over San Francisco, Indy over Pitt, Los Angeles Chargers over the Titans, Lions over the Vikings, Packers over the Panthers, Texans over the Broncos, Rams over the Saints, Jags over the Raiders, Chiefs over the Bills, Seahawks over the Commanders, and the Cowboys over the Cardinals. So that's it. And If you don't follow already, please follow at King NFL Stats on every social media platform. And we'll be back next week to go over what happened in Week 9 and talk about Week 10. Until then, thanks for stopping by.
For the best Italian food in Western New York, Elliott Apollos, call 716-825-3675. The Lardon Construction Group.
Fubo TV, the official streaming service of Do Champions. FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Do Champions.
For all your summertime needs, beauty pools, as well as kayak pools.
CX Chronicles, your total customer solutions focused manager. W.GG, the official energy drink of Do Champions.
Hey, Sons of Erie, our artwork looks better on your walls. Hamburg Brewing, please visit our tap room on Boston State Road, Hamburg, New York. And finally,
Fat Boy Surf Club for all your surfing needs.